Welcome and a very good afternoon to all of you. Today I am going to give you class in the chapter Resource and Development for 10th class. And before I commence in the topic, I want to give a message to you on the matter of COVID-19. Since the world is suffering from this deadly viral infection, I will request all of you, all the people who are listening to me, to please stay inside your homes and be safe. Always wash your hands with proper soap and others, and always wear the clean clothes. In this way, and you should obey the orders of the government and keep the social distancing such that you don't come in contact with the virus, such that you can be safe at home. Now I am coming in the topic resource and development, and before we go forward, I want to say something about resource. What is a resource? Resource is anything that has some value and can be put in use of humans for their benefit. Means the resource can be used in such a way that humans can be benefited by them. It may be anything. It may be a living thing or a non-living thing. Suppose I am giving you the example of soil. We can say that soil is a resource. How soil is a resource? Soil is a resource such that people use soil for a variety of purposes. We till the soil to grow a variety of crops, fruits, vegetables. We make our buildings and others on land, and the soil is also used for a variety of purposes like making up bricks and others. So it is a resource, means it can be used by the humans for their own benefit. Therefore we can say that anything which has some value and can be put in a useful use is resource. तो हमारे कहने का यह तात्पर्य है कि रिसोर्स क्या है? रिसोर्स या संसाधन इन सभी घटकों को लेते हैं जिससे मानव का विकास हो सकता है, उसका कल्याण हो सकता है और उसके भलाई में उसका इस्तेमाल हो सकता है. आइए हम लोग चलते हैं रिसोर्स के बारे में कुछ जानकारी प्राप्त करते हैं. रिसोर्स को मोटे तौर पे दो भागों में बांट सकते हैं. वी कैन क्लासिफाई रिसोर्स इन ब्रॉडली टू कैटेगरीज. फर्स्ट वन इज नेचुरल एंड देन द ह्यूमन. फर्स्ट आई एम कमिंग टू द फर्स्ट टॉपिक, नेचुरल. The natural resources are those resources which are present in nature and which are existed on the earth for millions of years. And the natural resources can also be classified in renewable and non-renewable. Renewable resources are those resources which can be used continuously, means it never gets exhausted, means we can use it for a very long time and again we can use it. Like water and wind. We know that water, it is renewable because water can be obtained by the water cycle. The evaporation of water from the water bodies, it changes water into vapor, and the vapor goes up, condenses there to form clouds and comes to the land on the form of precipitation. Therefore we can again and again get the water. Then comes the air. We all know that green plants, they consume carbon dioxide by the process of photosynthesis and they release oxygen, and in the term of respiration we consume oxygen and then release carbon dioxide. In this way the cycle goes on, and element is never exhausted in nature. Then we are coming to the next topic. The renewable resources can also be classified in the biological as well as biological as natural vegetation and animal life. In this way we can classify the renewable resources. Now we are coming to the non-renewable one. Non-renewable means what? Those resources which are going to be exhausted in the near future, means we are continuously using it and they will be exhausted. The non-renewable resources can be classified as recyclable. Means recyclable means the scrap one. Once used, the scrap can be recycled to make new articles like metals. Suppose the body of cars, vehicles and others, when they become old, they are sold to the smelters and the smelting is done and new articles can be made from the melted object. In this way they are called recyclable. Then the non-recyclable means they can't be recycled, like fossil fuel, petrol and diesel. When petrol and diesel they are burned, they are converted in various oxides, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxides, and we can't get them back, means they are non-recyclable. We can't recycle them. Like coal, we burn coal एंड ऐश इज फॉर्म्ड, मतलब कोयले जलाने पर हमको ऐश मिलेगा, फिर ऐश से हम लोग कोयला प्राप्त नहीं कर सकते हैं। इस तरह से ये नॉन रिसाइक्लेबल फ्यूल है। देन वी आर गोइंग टू द नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी, ह्यूमन। व्हाट आर ह्यूमन रिसोर्स? Human is a resource because human is the only animal on earth that has a developed brain and can use the brain to modify the elements around it for its own benefits. Like, suppose human have a developed brain, they can use the water resources like rivers, they can build dam on them, they can obtain electricity, they can make canals, and they can irrigate the field and others. Then we are coming to the other topic in the human resource, quantity and quality. Quantity means the number. Human is a resource because if more humans are there, then the workforce will be more. Such as in China and India, we have a very large workforce and the labor is very cheap. Therefore, the cost of production is very less here. But the quality means quality is determined by two factors, education and health. And when these two factors they come together, education and health, we have a good quality population. Like, by education, a person mind develops, and health means a good and sound body where sound mind develops. In this way, health and education makes a person fully competent to do a particular work. Okay, now we are coming to the next thing. After the classification of resources, then the types. Then the types of resources we are coming on the basis of origin, means where does this resource come from? What is the origin? What is the parent material from which it is built up? The first one is the biotic resource. Biotic means living, and those resources which are derived from the living are the biotic resources. Our biosphere means the human, livestock, fisheries, and the plants. All these are in the biotic resources, means they are obtained from the living or derived from the living elements. Then the abiotic means non-living. These are the resources which are non-living, like metals, non-metals and others. These are the resources which are abiotic in nature. We can also put water in this category also. The next category is on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility, we can classify resources in two varieties. The first one is renewable. Renewable means we can get more than one time. Means we can get multiple times these resources. The renewable resources are water, air, etc. These resources we can get many times. Like water, by the method of water cycle, it get recycled. Air also, it get recycled. And the composition of air never changes in the atmosphere. Then the non-renewable resources, these resources which can't be renewed in the future, they will be exhausted, and after being exhausted, we can't get them back. They are the non-renewable resources like fossil fuel, coal, petroleum and others. These are the non-renewable resources. Means once they are exhausted or they are emptied, then we can't get them back. Then on the basis of ownership means who is the owner of this resource. The first one is individual resources, means the owner is a single person, like a person, a man who owns a building, a plot of land. That resource is so called be individual resources, means it belongs to the one person or a family. They are called the individual resources. Then the community owned resources, those resources which belong to a particular community, like in the village we find always that there is a pond where people catch fish or they go for a bathing. The tanks on the religious occasion, the people utilize them for bathing and religious purposes. They are community owned resources. Like the fallow land where the cattle graze of the village, they are the community owned resources, means they belong to the whole community or a particular village where the people they all use it. These are the community owned resources. Then national resources, those resources which are within the boundaries of a particular nation are said to be national resources, like the coal fields in India, then the iron ore mines in Chhattisgarh, etc. They can be said to be national resources. Means they belong to the mainland of India and our country is the owner. No other country can claim it. These are the national resources. Then international resources, those resources which lie outside the boundary of the nation or territorial waters are said to be international resources. The mandatory limit is 12 nautical miles. Means up to 12 nautical miles in the ocean, that those resources which are there, they belong to a particular country. And beyond 200 kilometers of the boundary, those resources are international resources. There are certain treaties which govern the use, and if we are going to use those resources, we have to take permission from the international agency, and those international agency will give us the permission, then we can use it. I can give you an example. The very good example of this is the coalition between China, Taiwan and Japan for the resources in the South China Sea. These resources are under the international category. They don't belong to a particular country. Therefore, these three countries, they quarrel among themselves for these resources and governing it. That's all. Very much thank you to all of you for watching me. Please like my channel and give me share.